The top stories tonight in Y News. Typhoon Egay slightly weakens as it accelerates over the waters of Luzon Strait. Get to know the impact and latest updates on the tropical cyclone. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim agreed to strengthen cooperation in agriculture, transnational crimes, and digitalization. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines vows to complete its interconnection projects mentioned during the second State of the Nation address of PBBM. And Britain issues a warning about potential Russian military actions targeting civilian ships in the Black Sea. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of July, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I'm William Theo. The news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was welcomed at Istana Negara or National Palace on Wednesday as part of his three-day state visit to Malaysia. During his visit, President Marcos and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim held a bilateral meeting. Nel Maribuhok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was accorded a state welcome ceremony upon his arrival at Istana Negara or Malaysia's National Palace, was personally welcomed by the King and Queen of Malaysia, as well as Prime Minister Anwari Ibrahim and his wife Dato Seri Dr. Wan Aziza Wan Ismail. According to the President, the Philippines and Malaysia should examine and strengthen their relationship as the two nations gear toward post-pandemic recovery, wherein both countries will play an important role. He added that post-pandemic scenario is a very different road that the two nations now face compared to what we faced before the pandemic. According to the President, their membership in ASEAN and in BIMP-IAGAY still continues to strengthen their relationship as they come back and start to emerge from the difficult period in the last 2.5 years of the pandemic. The two countries, he added, must recreate and transform themselves to be competitive and to be part of a new world order as it is happening and transforming now. In the same day, President Marcos and the Malaysian Prime Minister held a bilateral meeting. In their joint statement, President Marcos expressed appreciation for the invitation to visit Malaysia. The two leaders agreed to strengthen their cooperation in agriculture, transnational crimes, digital economy, banking, education, tourism, and sports. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGP, vows to complete its deliverables mentioned during the second State of the Nation address of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGCP, said among its top priorities the swift completion of the Mindanao-Visayas Interconnection Project and the Stage 3 of the Cebu-Negros-Panay Interconnection Project. Both crucial projects have been partially energized, with the Mindanao-Visayas project on track to be fully energized to 450 megawatts by the third quarter of 2023. These were among the agency's deliverables mentioned in the second State of the Nation address of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. In NGCP's official statement, it vowed to concentrate all available resources toward the completion of ongoing transmission projects while expediting others in the pipeline. Based on the data of the Energy Regulatory Commission, or ERC, 68 transmission projects of NGCP have been delayed. In June 2023, the Department of Energy released a department order which created the performance assessment and audit team for the operations of the transmission network provider and system operator. The DOE stated that it has already completed its audit work plan and will soon commence its actual audit together with the ERC. Meanwhile, during the post-State of the Nation address discussion yesterday, Energy Secretary Rafael Lotilla said that instead of imposing sanctions on NGCP, they will coordinate with them to find solutions in expediting delayed transmission projects.
What is the exact nature of the problem? What are the obstacles that are facing us so that we can work on them? If the obstacle is one of financing or inability or difficulties of the country's biggest monopoly to carry out, then let's find alternative ways of rolling out the transmission construction in the country. This is what we look forward to do, not simply to find fault, but precisely to find the appropriate solutions for what the country faces.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, Department of Justice or DOJ Chief Crispin Remulla said the House of Representatives has a clear version of the new proposed Immigration Act. Under the said bill, it would allow the Bureau of Immigration to make decisions without the approval of the Justice Department or to become an independent bureau.
Kasi marami pa sa mga function ang immigration na mahalaga na nakatali sa ating justice system. Ang isang example dyan, pagbibigay ng pribileyo na magbigay na papasukin ang mga dayuhan sa ating bansa.
The Bureau expressed gratitude when President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. asked during his second State of the Nation address to pass a new immigration law. The current Philippine Immigration Act is already over 80 years since 1940. Meanwhile, the onslaught of Typhoon Egay has been felt in many towns in Cagayan early this morning. More than 4,000 families have been evacuated to evacuation centers as a precautionary measure. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
The farmlands in Aparia feared to have turned into a sea after being submerged in floodwaters due to the impact of Typhoon Egay, which hit the town earlier today. Some houses made of light materials near the coastal and farm areas were also destroyed by the typhoon. This has left Aling Celia extremely worried about whether she still has a home to return to after the storm.
Sa banda ng yung ilog kami doon sa may palayan. O malaki raw yung tubig na ngayon, pati yung palayan na yung nabaha na po. Pati bahay. Opo, pati bahay namin.
Moreover, the electric posts were knocked down, leaving a significant portion of Cagayan without electricity. The situation is the same in the town of Santa Ana, Cagayan. In response to the damages incurred, the Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office of Santa Ana immediately conducted an assessment.
Sa awa ng Diyos, sir, ay yung mga lang naman, yung mga light materials na pambahay, sila yung mga main damage, so yung mga puno, mga saging, corn, yun ang mga na-damage. Pero yung sa data po sa mga agricultural na nasira ay inaano pa lang po sa office ng Municipal Agriculturist natin.
According to the Cagayan Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, a total of 4,815 families or 15,461 individuals have been affected and are currently seeking temporary shelter in evacuation centers due to the typhoon.
Ang tinitingnan po naming mas malaking epekto ngayong daladala ni Super Typhoon Egay ay ang ibinuhos nitong ulan kasabay ng intensification sa southwest monsoon po natin na kung saan ay patuloy pa rin umuulan mula doon sa Vizcaya, Quirino at Isabela. At ang mga ulan na mula doon ay kami ang sasalo dahil kami ang catch basin dito sa Region 2.
Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine Coast Guard has given a go signal to some areas that marine vessels can now sail after a few days of implementing the no-sail policy because of bad weather due to Typhoon Egay, particularly in eastern Visayas and Bicol region, while in southern Tagalog, Batangas, and Mindoro are also allowed to sail. But for Lucena, Puerto Real, and the rest of the eastern seaboard of southern Tagalog and the National Capital Region, the no-sail policy is still in effect. Philippine Coast Guard reports that only 1,435 remain stranded in ports.
Pagka nagpalabas ng forecast yung Pag-asa at nilift dito sa Metro Manila, well, wala nang reason para paghintayin pa ng matagal itong mga kababayan nating nandito sa National Capital Region.
And for the news abroad, amid rising tensions, Britain issues a warning about potential Russian military actions targeting civilian ships in the Black Sea, while the European Union steps up to support Ukraine by facilitating the export of its farm produce through rail and road. Joselito Liquido will tell us why. Live. Yes, good evening, Joselito.
Good evening, Elsie. Britain warned Tuesday, July 25, that Russia's military could target civilian ships in the Black Sea. In a show of support, the European Union vowed to assist Ukraine in exporting nearly all of its farm produce through rail and road. Meanwhile, global wheat prices surged by approximately 50% due to Russia's withdrawal from an agreement that permitted the safe export of Ukraine's grain through the Black Sea for a year. Britain's UN Ambassador Barbara Woodward conveyed the information, while British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak shared this information with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky during a phone call. The Black Sea grain deal, established a year ago by the UN and Turkey to address a global food crisis, experienced Russia's withdrawal last week, citing unmet demands for its own food and fertilizer exports and insufficient Ukrainian grain reaching poorer countries under the deal. However, the UN countered that the pact had indeed benefited poorer nations by reducing the global price by 23% since March 2022. To support Ukraine's farm produce exports, the European Union announced plans to establish solidarity lanes by road and rail through neighboring EU countries. This initiative is intended to export almost all of Ukraine's oilseeds and grains, approximately 4 million tons per month. Meanwhile, USAID Chief Samantha Power announced the United States' intention to invest in additional grain storage for Ukraine. This move aims to prevent harvest, which could have been shipped by the Black Sea, from rotting while awaiting exports to global markets. Elsie?
Thank you, Joselito Liquido, reporting live from Malaysia. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Thank you, Elsie. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The Department of Justice, or DOJ, disclosed that authorities have found the missing person deprived of liberty at the New Bilibid Prison, or NBP. Dante Amento reports.
Department of Justice, or DOJ Secretary Crispin Boyeng Rimulya, said inmate Michael Angelo Cataruja was found dead. Cataruja went missing inside the New Bilibid Prison, or NBP, last July 15, 2023.
Yung nawawalang PDL nahanap na patay, decapitated. That is the status of the missing PDL. And there will be other revelations in the next few days.
But Rimulya did not give further details as the investigation is still ongoing.
We are investigating, inimbestigahan namin lahat ng pangyayari. I'm expecting a comprehensive report at the end of the day from Director General Katapang.
But the Bureau of Corrections, or Bucor, meanwhile disclosed the indication is that Cataruja's remains are inside the NBP septic tank.
May dalawang indication pong nakita yung mga aso na amoy niya yung damit nung nawawalang preso sa kisame, and right after that, nag-indicate po dun sa septic tank. Tumahol po yung mga canine dogs doon. Kaya nga po yan ang ine-excavate.
The Bucor added there might be other remains inside the septic tank based on the other items found inside, such as cell phones and even bones.
Po, may nakita po kaninang buto, pero yun nga, hindi po kami pwedeng makialam dahil sila po yung may sound wisdom when it comes to the forensic. Iba-iba po may cellphone pa nga, di ba? Merong parang yung parang may asthma, yun, parang gano'n, nebulizer, tapos merong cellphone ba yun? Tsaka yung brief.
The DOJ, on the other hand, said they will investigate the issue to determine who will be the Bucor official liable. But it allegedly occurred before Director General Pio Katapang assumed office.
Sketchy pa lahat. Everything is still in the exploratory stage, and we're still trying to find out. Trying to get to the bottom of everything. We have to find the timeline pa eh. Kaya wala kami makukonclude. We don't even know the timeline of the period involved.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, Typhoon Egay has slightly weakened as it moves over the waters of Luzon Strait. As of 8 p.m. today, July 26, the tropical cyclone was located at 95 kilometers west-northwest of Calayan, Cagayan, packing maximum sustained winds of 165 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 230 kilometers per hour. At present, it is moving northwestward at 15 kilometers per hour. Wind signal number 3 is raised in the northwestern portion of Ilocos Norte, including Bangi, Pagudpud, Burgos, and Pasukin, while wind signal number 2 is raised in the province of Cagayan, including Babuyan Islands, Kalinga, Abra, and the rest of Ilocos Norte, Apayao, northern and central portion of Ilocos Sur, western portion of Mountain Province, and Batanes. Wind signal number 1 is raised in Isabela, the rest of Mountain Province, Ifugao, Zambales, Pangasinan, Benguet, La Union, Nueva Vizcaya, the rest of Ilocos Sur, Quirino, Aurora, Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, Pampanga, northern portion of Bataan, and the northern portion of Bulacan. More than 1 million family food packs have been pre-positioned in the country amid the onslaught of Typhoon Egay, according to the Department of Social Welfare and Development. The agency is also monitoring Occidental Mindoro due to a series of flooding occurrences in the province. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, announced that they have prepositioned family food packs in the country, especially in the regions affected by Typhoon Egay.
As of yesterday, ang ulat nga namin, 1.3 million family food packs ang nakakalat sa 16 na regions ng ating bansa at sa iba't ibang mga probinsya.
DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian said they continue to coordinate with local government units and regional directors in Cagayan Valley.
Yung mga papangangailangan ng ating nasuporta ng ating mga local government units, kung sakaling kapusin sila, kayang-kaya panugutan ng DSWD at handa tayo to step up to the challenge.
The DSWD added that they are also monitoring the series of flooding occurring in Occidental Mindoro. Meanwhile, the agency reiterates that they are ready at all times and not only during calamities. Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
With the ongoing onslaught of Typhoon Egay in northern Luzon, the Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP Cordillera, conducts various clearing and rescue operations in the Cordillera region. There are ongoing search and rescue operations in the municipality of Bugyas in response to a landslide incident involving a residential building. In Baguio City, clearing operations are being done in various locations due to fallen trees, branches, and debris that have blocked roads and damaged several infrastructures. Road clearing operations as well as rescuing stuck vehicles are also being conducted on several highways in La Trinidad, Benguet due to a buildup of debris that clogged sewers and impeded traffic in the said locations. The region is still experiencing strong winds and heavy rains. Nonetheless, BFP CAR continuously conducts full-swing rescue and clearing operations to address the widespread damage caused by heavy rains, strong winds, and flooding.
In other global news, extreme weather throughout the month of July has caused havoc across countries, bringing death and destruction to sun-scorched Mediterranean intense summer heatwave on Tuesday, caused wildfires to large Mediterranean areas, resulting to thousands of people affected, including deaths. North Africa reported forest fires, which has already killed at least 34 people. In Croatia, 12-kilometer flames surged a medieval town of Dubrovnik. Greece reported more than 20,000 people evacuating from homes. In east of Athens, 2 firefighting pilots dropping water at that time died from crash. While in the United States, ocean waters around South Florida reached a hot tub levels this week. Residents from certain areas expressed the scenarios as a very short but very intense. According to a study by World Weather Attribution, a global team of scientists that examines the role of climate change in extreme weather, events this month would have been extremely rare. They have described the extreme heat as silent killer. In response to a complaint filed by Free Civil Rights Group on July 3, the United States Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights has launched an investigation into Harvard University's admissions process. The complaint argues that Harvard's preference for legacy undergraduate applicants, those with ties to donor and alumni, unfairly benefit white students and potentially violates rights laws. Marvy Delphine tells us why.
Legacy admissions policies, common among colleges and universities, have come under scrutiny since the Supreme Court's June ruling that struck down race-conscious admission policies at Harvard College and the University of North Carolina, raising concerns about diversity efforts. The complaint alleges that legacy or donor-connected applicants to Harvard College are nearly 70% white and have significantly higher acceptance rates than regular applicants. These claims are supported by Harvard's admissions data made public after the Supreme Court ruling, with further data expected as the investigation continues. Harvard is conducting a review of its admissions policies to ensure a continued commitment to promoting diversity, as stated by university spokesperson Nicole Rura. Meanwhile, in light of the investigation and public pressure, other universities, including Wesleyan University and the University of Minnesota's Twin Cities campus, have already taken steps to end legacy admissions policies, following the example set by several other higher education institutions across the United States. While some advocates hope for the abolition of legacy preferences, Edward Blum of Students for Fair Admissions believes that such practices are unlikely to be considered illegal, citing the absence of past legal challenges from organizations like the NAACP and the Mexican American Legal Defense Foundation. As the investigation progresses, the nation is closely monitoring its implications on diversity in higher education and the future of legacy admissions at Harvard. Marvy Delphine, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Homelessness in England has reached its highest level since 2018. To address this, the government is being urged to reform renting laws and build more affordable housing. At the same time, Britain is facing a cost of living crisis due to high inflation rates, making it hard for people to afford essentials and cope with rising rental prices. Between January and March, nearly 80,000 households needed help to deal with homelessness or the risk of it. Over half of them were already homeless, and 18% were in London. Additionally, 104,510 households were in temporary accommodation, a 10% increase from the previous year. Housing charity Shelter called for more affordable and social housing to ease the pressure on the private rental sector. They also urged the government to pass the Renters Reform Bill, which aims to abolish no-fault evictions, where landlords can evict tenants without giving a specific reason and provide more security for tenants. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has promised to boost home building efforts before the next election to tackle the ongoing housing crisis. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
The Department of Health, or DOH, today manifested its commitment to poverty reduction in the country during a crucial dialogue with other national government agencies. The post-State of the Nation Address, or SONA dialogue, marks a significant step towards addressing poverty reduction in the Philippines. According to DOH Secretary Teodoro Herbosa, the programs of the department mentioned by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in his second State of the Nation address, such as the Universal Health Care Law, or UHC law, aims to fulfill the mission and purpose of the department.
We also want to talk about being able to use technology. We also want to talk about making sure that we are addressing any crisis. The Philippines is so disaster prone. We just have typhoon hit areas just now, and these people are flooded, and we need to be able to respond very fast in terms of health needs for these areas that are affected.
Meanwhile, several senators had a heated exchange as the Senate tackled on the plenary a resolution urging the government to bring up to the United Nations the aggressive actions of China in the West Philippine Sea. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Senate Deputy Minority Leader Reso took the Senate floor today to sponsor her resolution calling on the government to take up the issue on the West Philippine Sea to the international community. Hontiveros urges the Philippine government through the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, to sponsor a resolution before the United Nations General Assembly, or UNGA, calling on China to stop its harassment of Philippine vessels within the West Philippine Sea.
We must continue to solidify that international consensus against the unlawful claims of the Chinese government and the illegitimate policy it is pursuing in the West Philippine Sea of attempting to do with force and coercion what it cannot achieve under international law.
Senate President Juan Miguel Migzubiri also supports the resolution, saying that the only recourse that the government has is to take the matter to the international community.
Should we successfully pass a resolution before the UN General Assembly, we will in effect be solidifying international support for the sovereignty of the Philippines and putting pressure on our friends in China to keep their military and political activities outside our exclusive economic zone and continental shelf.
But Senator Alan Peter Cayetano believes raising the issue to the UNGA is not the way to go. A former Foreign Affairs Secretary during the Duterte administration, Cayetano wants the resolution to be deliberated first in the committee level and consult various government agencies.
And we are all outraged about the actions of China. But is the UN General Assembly the right forum for us to get justice? I'm not saying it's the wrong. Under our Constitution and jurisprudence, the chief architect is the President. It has never been the House or the Senate. So it is the President who will say what is the strategy, where we will go.
It is one of the right fora. So we hold on to our victory at The Hague. We are seeking now also the diplomatic and political support of all other member countries in the United Nations. Kaya nga po, pati sa lengguwahe ng resolution, which I am open to amendments to, Mr. President, for example, in the dispositive portion, dahil sila ang arkitekto ng ating foreign policy.
It is a sense of the Senate asking our executive department, who is the chief policy maker, particularly the president, to take action on this.
Hontiveros also suggests for Cayetano to file his own resolution, urging the DFA to file a case before the Permanent Court of Arbitration against other claimant countries in the South China Sea, particularly Vietnam. But Cayetano thumbs down the proposal. In the end, Zubiri sets a caucus on Monday for senators to discuss the issue. An executive session will also be conducted where Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, and the National Task Force on the West Philippine Sea will be invited. Meanwhile, a resolution creating a special committee on Philippine maritime and admiralty zones was also adopted by the chamber. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of John chapter 14 verse 21. It says, "He that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me, and he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him, and will manifest myself to him." And those are the reasons behind the news, July 26, 2023, reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.